Chapter 16 Kushina was arrested. 3,000 favorites plus updates. Please give me some flowers and tickets. Chapter 16 Kushina was arrested. 3,000 favorites plus updates. Please give me some flowers and tickets. After school, Linyi walked home. There were fewer people on the street, and people were walking faster and in a hurry. The smoke of World War II is very close, and all the high-level people have felt the smoke of Ninja Village and Ninja Village before, and their attitudes are inevitably much more serious, which affects the lower-level people. Even my sister Tsunade spends a lot more time on missions, and rarely has holidays. Even if she tried her best to ask for leave, she couldn't have much time to teach Linyi how to practice ninjutsu at this time when a war is about to break out. Linyi glanced at the slightly depressed surroundings and didn't care. Unlike the previous ninja world wars, World War II was the only war that broke out with almost no incentives. In the first battle, because Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara died together, Konoha's strength was greatly damaged, and other ninja villages saw this and launched an attack, trying to take advantage. In the Third War, Third Kazekage was attacked and died by a scorpion. In order to divert conflicts in the village, Sand Shinobi Village took the lead in launching the war. For wars, it is Uchiha Obito and Uchiha Madara who want to complete Project Tsuki no Mi, and declare war on the ninja world for this. However, World War II was different. After the First World War, the economic development among countries was unbalanced, the ninja village militant forces in various countries rose, and small frictions continued to rise. The friction was getting bigger and bigger, and by the time everyone reacted, the war had already broken out. It has no definite cause, but rather a long portent. Every ninja village leader has faintly noticed this, and while unrelentingly not exposing shortcomings in front of other ninja villages, they continue to send envoys to other ninja villages to cooperate vertically and horizontally. Looking at Hokage's office in the distance, Linyi thought to himself. 2 days ago, the envoys from Cloud Shinobi Village came to Konoha. Even the guys with muscles in their heads from Cloud Shinobi Village sent ninjas. It seems that the war is not far away. Although he is only a student of the ninja school, as the son of the Senju clan, he has many sources of information. Because of Wood style, Tsunade decided to vigorously train Linyi, and even told Linyi the information that was called confidential. This gave Linyi a deep understanding of the current situation. Back at Senju Station, Linyi removed his avatar casually. A large number of training memories and a deep sense of exhaustion came to my heart. This is the reason why multiple shadow clone techniques are listed as forbidden technique. To remove a large number of clones at the same time, the impact of memory may turn a person's head into an idiot. That is Linyi. With his immortal body, he doesn't care about the impact, otherwise it would be very dangerous to play avatars like Naruto. So don't underestimate Naruto, he can withstand the impact of so many shadow clone, and his will is as firm as steel, so he is naturally qualified to be the protagonist. Of course, Linyi's avatars have been studying all day, which brings a greater impact on memory. Otherwise he can play with a lot of avatars, not just these 10. Linyi rubbed the center of his brows, feeling the memories brought by these avatars. Then start avatar again. Wood clone is different from shadow clone. Shadow clone is broken when touched, and wood clone can not only withstand a certain amount of damage, even after being broken, it can also turn into a tree and entangle the enemy. Of course, the disadvantage is that chakra consumes a lot, and there is no way to play without a little amount of chakra. Fortunately, Linyi's chakra is extremely majestic, not inferior to Senju Hashirama, and even faintly surpassed. You know, Lin Yi is only 11 years old now. His body is far from reaching its peak. Lin Yi looked at the 10 avatars in front of him, breathed a sigh of relief, and then took the ball beside him with one hand. Yes, he is practicing Raise Nan. Similar to wood style, Raise Nan is also a very strong ninjutsu, with a lot of applications, even in the finale. At the same time, this is also the ninjutsu that Lin Yi knows best, more than any other ninjutsu. During this period of time when Tsunade was out on missions and unable to teach Lin Yi ninjutsu, he considered practicing this ninjutsu. 10 avatars plus the deity started making dumplings at the same time. The huge chakra can perfectly support Lin Yi's consumption. If the avatars are not considered, he can play continuously for 5 days and 5 nights without any problems. With the palm stretched out, the huge chakra flows along an invisible rule, and is suppressed in that small ball. Boom! The ball was slightly broken. Lin Yi frowned, and continued to pick up the next ball. Just micro-breaking is not enough, it must have the effect of bursting. The avatars also began to practice together, and for a while, the sound of the ball cracking continued. Boom! Failed again. Lin Yi pouted, and indifferently took it to the side, but found nothing. Hey, there's no ball. If the Raisingan's only downside. That's a lot of balls needed. Ball, balloon. There was no problem with these materials originally, but in this era where the smell of war is strong, it is more troublesome to collect these materials. But it's troublesome, since he's also a member of the Senju family. Lin Yi pre-ordered the ball at a shop and entrusted the shop owner to blow it up. Then go get it. Leaving the avatar to learn other ninjutsu, Lin Yi walked out of the Senju station and went to find the shop he had booked. Walking on the street, suddenly his footsteps stopped. On the ground, a strand of bright red hair, like a tomato, fell there. Looking at it from a distance, there was also a little bit of hair in the distance. Lin Yi's eyes flickered suddenly. Kushina was taken away. I felt shaking when I coded, and thought to myself, it should be an earthquake. Then he continued to code words with a calm face. After the code words were finished, he went to the group to brag, and people said, it has been 3 or 4 hours before you can connect to the internet. Chapter 17 I found you. First update, please ask for flowers. Chapter 17 I found you. The first update, all kinds of requests. The one who kidnapped Kushina was undoubtedly Cloud Shinobi Village. When the first Hokage was distributed to the tailed beasts of each country, every country paid a price except for Sand Shinobi Village, which had its own tailed beasts. And although they paid a little money, they also got the technology of sealing the tailed beast as a gift from first Hokage. Although not as good as Konoha, they are far superior to Sand Shinobi Village. Therefore, compared with the red pandas in the future, the lives of other Jinchuriki are relatively easy, and some of them can become high-level people in the village as Jinchuriki. But even if the quality of the sealing technique is guaranteed, it still needs the quality of Jinchuriki itself. Even Konoha needs to go to the former site of Uzumaki to find Kushina, let alone other ninja villages. Now Cloud Shinobi Village is just like Konoha, in the period when Jinchuriki is about to be replaced, so it is inevitable to turn to Konoha, who has the strongest sealing technique. Kushina's chakra is not only powerful, but also special. He is the best candidate to become Jinchuriki, and it falls into their eyes. I remember that Cloud Shinobi Village sent a mission, as well as troops to support the mission, and they approached the border some time ago. Lin Yi thought to himself while tracking based on the red hair on the ground. The diplomats in the previous life did not need the country to send troops to protect them. At most, there were a few military attachés, because few countries would do anything to diplomats for no reason, and at most they were under house arrest. But the Hokage world is different. Diplomats in the Hokage world must be powerful ninjas, and ninjas who are not strong enough are not even worth being diplomats. And a powerful ninja is very likely to have blood succession limit. Blood succession limit is very exciting in any ninja village. For example, the eyes of the Hokaga clan. If the third generation really let the Hokaga clan become diplomats, then Cloud Shinobi will definitely disregard the rule of two countries fight each other, don't kill each other and do it directly. Of course, third Hokage would not be so stupid as to send a blood successor like Hokaga to be a diplomat. However, although other blood successors are not as precious as Hokaga, they also need protection, at least pretending to protect, so as not to make the messenger sad. In order to give the envoys a chance to escape back to the village will also send support troops close to the border while sending the envoys, and provide immediate support in case of problems. But now, this international code has been utilized in turn by Cloud Shinobi Village. The place where Kushina lives is the core of Konoha, near Grandma Mito's house, but now I haven't found Umbu who is tracking the enemy like me, that is to say. Lin Yi squinted his eyes. The mission ninjas from Cloud Shinobi Village may be covering for the ninjas who took Kushina. Even at the expense of some ninjas, he was diverting Konoha's attention to buy them time. The price paid is huge, but it also means that the success rate is extremely high. I need to hurry up. Hurry up. Go. A Cloud Shinobi with a serious face pushed Kushina roughly. Kushina staggered from being pushed and nearly fell to the ground. She bit her lip lightly, didn't speak, and walked forward without saying a word. About 2 hours ago, Kushina went home and found that there were many servants and Umbu's house in the past, but there was no one at all. She immediately realized something was wrong, but unfortunately it was too late. In the end, he was caught by these Cloud Shinobi, and he was taken out of the village and headed abroad. Resist? How can a ninja student who has not yet graduated, even if he has extraordinary strength, resist those real ninjas? Kushina bit her lip, making a row of teeth marks on her bright red lips. But silently speeded up a little bit. I was not knocked unconscious because those ninjas felt that if they knocked themselves out, they needed a ninja to carry them forward all the time, which wasted energy and time. But if their pace is too slow, then they will never cherish that little physical strength. That way. There is no way for me to leave traces. Thinking, Kushina's hands tied behind her back gently grabbed a strand of hair from her long red hair and threw it on the ground. She continued this movement for a long time. Fortunately her hair was very long, covering her hands. In addition, this group of Cloud Shinobi is more concerned about the Konoha Shinobi that may appear, so it has not been discovered. But will someone save me? Kushina's eyes were somewhat blank. I am just a tool in Konoha. How much can Konoha pay for a tool? Mito-sama might want to save someone, but she can't get out of the house by herself. Other people. Lin Yi. Kushina's lips moved slightly. Will he come in this world? There are too many people who talk about hype, but their actual actions are almost zero. Will he? Will come. Besides, I was taken away suddenly. Even if he wanted to come, when would he notice that I was missing? Kushina looked blank, just walking forward stiffly. In fact, she didn't expect anyone to save her for a long time, and even leaving traces was just a ninja's instinctive reaction. After all, I haven't become a Jinchuriki yet, and for Konoha, I can't even call it a qualified tool. Next second. I found you. A voice came with a bit of panting. Kushina's eyes widened suddenly and he raised his head. It's Lin Yi. Chapter 18 Don't care about this little matter. Second update, ask for flowers. Chapter 18 Don't care about this little matter. Second update, ask for flowers. Lin Yi panted slightly, stepped on the tree, and looked at the group of people walking forward in front of him. Found you. After he realized that Kushina was missing, he immediately rushed over. At night, even with his immortal body, he was a little tired. But after taking a few breaths, he calmed down. A pair of sharp pupils scanned the surroundings. When he saw the girl in the middle and made sure she was not injured, he breathed a sigh of relief. But immediately after seeing the wrists tied with hemp rope behind him, his eyes became sharp again. Kushina stared wide-eyed, looking at the figure in front of him in disbelief. The appearance is extremely handsome, with sword eyebrows and star eyes, fair skin, wearing ninja clothes, but with a sharp stinging feeling. Lin Yi, he came to save me. For a while, Kushina felt excited, moved, happy and so on. But in the next second, she immediately became worried, and shouted regardless. No. Lin Yi, what are you doing here? Go away. They are cloud shinobi, ninjas. There's even a special jonin among them. Especially jonin, although the combat power is not as good as the real jonin, but it is still at the level of jonin. And Lin Yi is just a student of the ninja school. Humph, you startled me. Cloud Shinobi, the leader, also heaved a sigh of relief when he saw the face of the speaker. They were not attacked by Konoha Shinobi along the way, but they all knew that Konoha might be attacked at any moment, and they were always tense. And now, there was an attack, but it was a child. Is there no one in Konoha? The real ninja didn't come, but he sent a kid of this age. With a sneer, the two Chunin took out Kunao. A Chunin looked Lin Yi up and down and said, "Hey, kid, you just graduated. A genin can also participate in this kind of mission." "You guessed wrong." Lin Yi glanced at him, "I haven't graduated yet." Whoosh. In the next second, his figure suddenly rushed over. The Chunin were stunned for a moment, and sneered, "Students should honestly play ninja games in school. Do you really think you won't die?" Whoosh whoosh. Chunin took out 3 shurikens and threw them, hitting Lin Yi accurately. "Fix." Chunin whistled. Lin Yi. Kushina exclaimed, "Don't let your guard down." Special Jonin looked stern. Ninjas are usually in teams of 3 or 4, maybe this person is just a cover-up. Be careful. Before he finished speaking, he exclaimed. Chunin was still in a daze, but suddenly felt a strong force coming from the back of his head. Boom! Lin Yi slammed his head into the ground, and his neck bent into an exaggerated arc. It's a clone. Especially when Jonin's face changed, he didn't expect that a small ninja student would know such advanced ninjutsu that can separate entities. In the next second, Lin Yi kicked it over. Especially Jonin rushed to block, but was kicked hard by that kick. This guy has so much strength. A look of shock flashed in Jonin's eyes. Even at our age, Master Raikage, we don't have the strength. Right when he stood firm, the other Chunin was punched in the heart by Lin Yi, and flew upside down, with some internal organs spit out from the corner of his mouth. It seemed that he was dying. Lin Yi. Kushina was dumbfounded, but after a few moments of trance, 3 ninjas, 2 were killed and 1 was blown away. It's okay, I'm here, it's okay. Lin Yi smiled. That smile, dependable, handsome. Little devil. Special Jonin burst into anger, his hands frantically formed seals, and the violent chakra condensed. Lin Yi, be careful. Kushina's heart raised again. Lightning-style Black Panther. With the chopping of the special Jonin's palms, the radiant black thunder suddenly turned into a thunder panther, and then burst out. On the thunder black panther, there is extremely strong lightning energy. The lightning energy expands and contracts indefinitely, like a giant mountain cracking blade, which is so sharp that it makes people feel chilling. The black thunder leopard was so fast that it reached Lin Yi in the blink of an eye. Earth-style earth flow wall. Boom. A thick earthen wall rose. Idiot. Let's not say that my lightning-style Black Panther is a B-level ninjutsu, and your earth-style is only a C-level ninjutsu. Just say that lightning-style restrains earth-style, and your earth-style can't be blocked by your earth-style. Ninjutsu. Special Jonin sneered. Boom. Thunder and roar sounded at the same time, sending out huge smoke and dust. Shockwaves scatter, lightning flashes, and a sneer appears on Jonin's mouth. But in the next second, his smile froze. Because the earth flow wall that was supposed to be smashed by his lightning style didn't move at all. How is it possible mine is a B-level ninjutsu, and it's lightning style that restrains his earth style? Especially Jonin's eyes widened, almost mad. I think it's probably because you're too weak. Especially Jonin shuddered because the voice came from behind him. Just as I was about to turn around, I heard a puff, and felt a pain in my heart. Boom. He crashed to the ground. Tuchinen, one special Jonin, all destroyed. Lin Yi showed a smile. His strongest wood style has not yet been used, and the battle has ended. Lin Yi. Kushina, don't worry, it's settled. Before Lin Yi finished speaking, he felt a small figure throw himself into his arms, crying loudly. Lin Yi, Lin Yi, Lin Yi. Lin Yi was stunned for a moment, showing a smile, gently stroking Kushina's small head, and stroking her smooth red hair. It's okay, it's all settled. But Kushina hugged Lin Yi regardless, rubbing back and forth. After all, she was just a little girl, and this encounter really couldn't make her get used to it. Lin Yi comforted Kushina a few words, but the effect was not good. Maybe she is under too much pressure, and now she just wants to cry and vent. So in the end, Lin Yi simply hugged her and waited for her to finish crying. But after a while, his expression suddenly became a little strange. Kushina is very beautiful, with a delicate face, a small chin, waist-length hair, and a girly figure that has not yet fully grown, but is already showing elegance. Such a body has been twisting and twisting in Lin Yi's arms, crying and hugging, clinging to Lin Yi tightly. It's okay for a short time, but for a long time. Lin Yi is also a man, so there will inevitably be some physiological reactions. No, how old is Kushina? She's just a Lolita. Lin Yi shook his head. Although looking at Kushina's current appearance, Lin Yi can definitely trick her into bed and socialize her. But Lin Yi is not such a person. He has always believed in his integrity, and he can even swear an oath to the world. I'm not a Lilicon. I'm not a Lilicon. I'm Lilicon. Hey, there seems to be something wrong with the third time. Forget it, now the ninja world is full of gunpowder, and the second ninja world war is about to break out. People are displaced and homeless, and there are as many tragic events as stars. For a man who aspires to revive his family, he needs to do too many things, so don't worry about this little thing. Chapter 19 I just killed third update, ask for flowers. Chapter 19 I just killed third update, ask for flowers. Konoha village, Hokage office. Boom. Damn it. Third Hokage Sarutobi was furious, slapped the table, and glared at everyone in front of him. What are your security forces doing? Kushina was arrested, and you're only reacting now. The contemporary Uchiha is full, and the leader of the Konoha Guard, Uchiha Kasuke, is blood red. But helplessly, he couldn't say any rebuttal words. The Konoha garrison force is equivalent to the police in the area of Konoha, and has the responsibility of defending Konoha. But now, the important Jinchuriki candidate was kidnapped by the enemy country, and he didn't find out until now. This is dereliction of duty. It's because our police force is concentrated on chasing Cloud Shinobi's mission. Uchiha Kasuke gritted his teeth and explained. What the originally proud Uchiha clan hates most is explanations, but now I can't explain it. The mistake this time is too big, and it may even affect the reputation of the Uchiha clan. A mistake is a mistake. There are countless reasons for Genin to fail in a mission to exorcise wild beasts, but who cares? Danzo snorted beside him. However, before Uchiha Kasuke could say anything, Third Hokage said furiously, "You still have the face to speak. I remember that Kushina's guard is jointly in charge of Root and Umbu. Right when she disappeared, what did you, the leader of Root, do? The security forces are there to track down the mission. How about you?" Danzo blushed and dared not speak. Today's third generation is in the prime of life, and it is the peak period of shinobi. Even Danzo can only bow his head in front of him. And actually it was Cloud Shinobi's masters who attacked Kushina's residence at first, killing Genbu and Umbu's masters, and then the masters exposed their bodies and attracted firepower. Only one special Jonin took Tuchinin to escort Kushina to Cloud Shinobi village. This is not just a failure of two departments, it is a failure of Konoha as a whole. Of course, Cloud Shinobi also paid a high price. At least 3 elite Jonin were besieged to death by Konoha, and there were quite a few ordinary Jonin and Chunin. But they succeeded. He slapped Konoha hard in the face. The atmosphere in Hokage's office was dull for a while, until an Umbu came to report. "Master Hokage, Senju Linyi asks to see you." Although Linyi has not yet graduated, as the only direct descendant of the Senju clan, he has the right to face Hokage directly. "Let him wait at the door, I'm not free now." Third Hokage snorted, although he didn't know why Linyi came here, but... "What time is it now, and you still have the mind to take care of a ninja student's request for an interview?" "Sarutobi, no matter what, send someone to chase them first." Yudatan Koharu said in a deep voice, "Maybe we can catch up with them before the border. Besides, those guys from Cloud Shinobi, do you really think that we won't dare to do anything in their land of thunder? The current Konoha is very strong. Although Sunin has not yet become famous, Third Generation and others are all in their prime, and there is a cage-level Master White Fang who is a little older than Sunin, and his strength is the best in other ninja villages." "Yes." Third Hokage nodded and looked up at Danzo. "Danzo, I order you to immediately lead someone to pursue the Cloud Shinobi troops, bring your roots, and my Umbu can also follow your command." At this critical moment, he still trusts his old teammate Danzo. Danzo also nodded. Although he wants to be Hokage, he is definitely not a person who does not care about the overall situation. Kushina is too important to Konoha, she must be brought back. You have to be careful, although judging from the intelligence, the ninja with Kushina should only be a special Jonin and Tuchinin, but it needs to be considered that there are masters who can transform into them. Sarutobi said in a deep voice. Even if it is transformed into an object and carried on the body, it may not be just those 3 people. Reconsidering the possible support of Cloud Shinobi, there may be more people. Of course, there is a limit no matter what, we... Before he finished speaking, he heard a young boy's crisp voice coming from outside the door. "No, those Cloud Shinobi are just a special jonin with Tuchinin." Everyone frowned at the same time and looked out the door. Creaking, the door of Hokage's office was gently pushed open, and a handsome young man stood outside with a smile on his lips. "Is it Senju Linyi, by the way?" Lord Hokage told him to wait outside the door just now. The higher UPS didn't speak, but they all raised their brows with unkind expressions. Does he know what he and others are talking about? Oh, he knows, he and others talked a lot in the office just now. But Cloud Shinobi has planned for so long and paid so much, God knows if they will have any cards. They also guessed from the number of missionaries and the ninjas killed in the pursuit, but now. A little ninja student uses that kind of determined tone. Do they all eat shit when they are high-level? Danzo, who had just been scolded, said in a bad tone, "Lin Yi, how do you know?" Lin Yi heard this, and silently took out 3 Cloud Shinobi forward protectors from his pocket. "I just killed it." Chapter 20 Graduating Early. First update, please ask for flowers. Chapter 20 Graduation Early. First update, please ask for flowers. For a moment, Hokage's office fell into a silence as if time paused. One of the most common signs of a ninja's forward protector, if it is a ninja who is always performing tasks outside, he may hide 1 or 2 by himself, but Lin Yi is just a student. In other words, he literally took out 3 Cloud Shinobi. "Are you chasing Kushina? Where is Kushina?" Third Hokage coughed, breaking the dull air. "I took her to Senju Station. I came here to hand in the task, so you're still looking for her?" With great fanfare. Lin Yi shrugged. Kushina was so tired today, she fell asleep soon after being hugged by Lin Yi. It was actually Lin Yi who took her to the Senju Station, put her in place, and after carefully checking whether Kushina was injured, he came to Hokage's office. No way, he is a medical ninja after all. As for having to take off your clothes in the middle, a doctor's parent's heart, Lin Yi said that he didn't move anything, just checked Kushina's body honestly, measured the scale by the way, and tried the feel. Everyone in Hokage's office had complicated expressions on their faces, and they all brought Kushina to Senju's resident. Obviously there was no problem. But, think about how I was still making plans for Cloud Shinobi's various arrangements just now, but in the end I was brought back by a ninja school student. Especially Danzo, that orange peel is like an old face twitching. So embarrassing. However, Lin Yi was able to kill a team including Special Jonin his strength. Danzo's eyes narrowed slightly. Kushina slept for a full day and night, and she could see that she was really tired this time. After waking up, he behaved very strangely, occasionally meeting Lin Yi's eyes, but immediately turned his head away like a frightened little rabbit. It made Lin Yi a little suspicious. Did I touch her while she was sleeping? Ahem, it was the inspection of her body that was discovered. Soon, several Umbu picked up Kushina and probably sent it to Mito. After such a big thing happened, I am afraid that the defense around her will be more stringent in the future, and it is estimated that she will not be able to go to school in a short time. Lin Yi didn't care, and continued to practice Raise Non. But he never expected that before Raise Non practiced, he actually learned another skill. Basic cuisine. Well, because my sister is really incompetent in cooking, Lin Yi has no choice but to take care of the food. From time traveling to now, I have been cooking, and I have to solve 3 meals a day by myself. After a long period of time, I have developed this skill. Let's upgrade. Lin Yi thought indifferently. Basic cuisine. The current level is upgraded to LVMAX, and the additional status 5 flavors is obtained. 5 flavors, through continuous exercise, you have mastered the essence of taste: sour, sweet, bitter, spicy and salty. No matter what taste the diner prefers, the food you make will automatically adapt to his taste. For example, zongzi: some people are sweet and some are salty, but the zongzi made by Linyi is the same. Both the sweet party and the salty party think that this zongzi is sweet-salty. Good to eat. But it's actually a cooking skill, a basic cooking skill. Linyi pouted. Forget it, talking about something is better than nothing. Cooking or something, can you eat it? Then he made himself dinner, and after. Ah, 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 ah. Smell, it's so delicious. A week after Kushina was brought back by Linyi, Tsunade hurried back. Her mission wasn't over yet, but she dropped the mission and rushed back. As soon as he came back, he yelled at Linyi unceremoniously. Linyi, what are you thinking about? That's special Jonin. It's Jonin. What are you doing running there, a little ninja student? I found Kushina's whereabouts. You can tell teacher Sarutobi, they are ninjas, and you are just a student. Do you think ninja battles are as simple as your classmates fighting each other? If you are not careful, you will die. Even if you don't die, if the celestial body in your body is found, you will be taken to Cloud Shinobi Village. Do you think it would be a disaster for Kushina to be caught as a Jinchuriki? Let me tell you, you will be 10,000 times worse than her by then. She was furious, her chest trembled, and even the sound of her breathing could be clearly heard, which showed that she was really angry. Yes, Kushina is Linyi's classmate, a distant relative of the Senju clan, Mito's grandma's clan, and Konoha's Jinchuriki candidate, which is very important. But in her eyes, Kushina can't even compare to Linyi. If Linyi is at risk because of Kushina, then let Kushina die. Konoha, tailed beast, whoever cares, who cares? I only care about my brother. Tsunade scolded angrily for a long time, her pretty fair face turned red with anger. Although Linyi was being scolded, she felt a little warm in her heart. Most of the female ninjas are heroines in the female school, especially this elder sister. However, at this time, this hero is like an old lady. This made Linyi's mouth involuntarily reveal a warm smile. Tsunade calmed down, looked straight, and said, Linyi, you haven't exposed your wood style, have you? Don't worry, no. Linyi smiled, they can't see anything. Once wood style is exposed, it will definitely cause an uproar in Konoha. The situation that is still in balance will collapse in an instant. Among other things, a certain root leader will definitely attack Linyi, and he will not give up until he achieves his goal. That's good. Tsunade breathed a sigh of relief. But Linyi, you have exposed too much strength this time, I'm afraid you can't continue to go to school. She said sternly. You have to graduate early. Chapter 21 Tsunade applies to be the team leader. Second update, ask for flowers. Chapter 21 Tsunade applies to be the team leader. Second update, ask for flowers. Hey Linyi, are you going to graduate early? In school? Mikoto asked in surprise. Minato and Kushina also cast surprised gazes. It is not difficult to graduate early. In fact, for the two of them, they also have the basis for early graduation. But including Linyi, none of them had the intention of graduating early at first. After graduating, he was just a ninja. Now that World War II is in full swing, Linyi and Mikoto are both children of rich families. The elders naturally want him to stay in school for a while. It's best not to come out until the war has calmed down a bit. Of course, This is probably a fool's dream, but it is good to exercise more in school, at least the dangers faced are much less. Minato is another reason. He is a child of common people. Although he is extremely talented, he is relatively weaker because he has not been carefully taught by a rich teacher. He also intends to take advantage of the atmosphere of this ninja school to learn more ninjutsu from teachers and classmates before graduating. Lin Yi didn't care about school or not, but after he brought back Kushina, part of his strength was exposed, and he was no longer allowed to stay in school. Strong ninjas should take on more important responsibilities. Although there is no saying in the ninja world that greater power comes with greater responsibility, those who have great strength but are in school will also be despised. In the past, Tsunade contributed to Konoha on behalf of the Senju clan. In addition, the population of the Senju clan was too thin, so the top management turned a blind eye. But not anymore. After all, a certain root chief has set out to spread the power and talent of a certain student of the Senju clan. He may not know that Lin Yi has learned wood style, but he also made some moves. But it doesn't matter, Lin Yi believes that her cheap sister will never let her go. I told my sister that this time I will take part in the graduation assessment for senior students. Lin Yi said with a smile. Although graduating alone is conspicuous, it is difficult to find suitable teammates. Kakashi graduated early tomorrow, but in the end he was still in the same class as Obito and Lin, which shows the trouble. You don't want weak teammates, strong teammates already have their own partners. In the end, it might as well be graduating with the seniors. If you actually want to graduate, you'd better join me. Lin Yi thought for a while, and pointed out, I guess there will be many good teachers after graduation. Lin Yi is also a member of the Senju clan, and there are countless ninjas who have been favored by 2 generations of Hokage from the Senju clan. It is estimated that many elite jonin will show up to see the level of the new generation of Senju clan. Maybe there are still people who have the idea of Kakashi accepting Naruto. You must know that even Konoha, elite jonin, is a rare species. Now that the war is full of gunpowder, it is impossible for the later generations that the 12 little strong teachers are all jonin. But for Lin Yi's class, this situation is very likely to happen. Okay, then I have to graduate early. Minato said decisively. The temptation to join a good teacher made it impossible for him to refuse this proposal. Then I'll graduate too. Mikoto shrugged indifferently. I want to graduate too. Kushina raised her hand high. Okay, then let's graduate together. Lin Yi smiled, I'll help you apply for early graduation, but don't fail the exam and embarrass me. To celebrate our early graduation, let me treat you to dinner. With that said, Lin Yi was about to open his bento box. Lin Yi, why don't you just treat us to your bento? Minato joked, don't tell us to treat us to the newly opened barbecue restaurant, why don't we have something good? Fortunately, you are still the young master of the Senju clan. Then you don't want to eat? Lin Yi gave Minato a weird look. Eat? But I'm going to pack up my things first and apply to the principal for an exam. You guys eat first, and I'll be back later. Minato smiled and walked to the classroom. Then let's eat first. Lin Yi smiled. About 10 minutes later, Minato came back and saw 2 girls who were neatly dressed, but their faces were flushed, their eyes were blurred, and the corners of their mouths were drooling. They looked like they were being played badly by Lin Yi. Of course, there is also a bento box with nothing left beside it. Minato. So, what the hell did you guys do while I was away for 10 minutes? And meanwhile, Hokage office. Teacher, I'm applying to be the team leader this time. Tsunade patted the table unceremoniously. Chapter 22 Elementary school students are not allowed to drive. Third change, ask for flowers. Chapter 22 Primary school students are not allowed to drive. Chapter 3, ask for flowers. Are you going to bring Senju Linyi? Third Hokage glanced at his apprentice. Good. Tsunade nodded. No. Third Hokage vetoed unceremoniously. Nidaime strictly prohibits the leading teacher and subordinates from being the same ninja. Tsunade, have you forgotten this rule? At the beginning of Konoha village's establishment, although many ninja tribes were merged into one village, there were actually great contradictions. So second Hokage established the ninja school. One is to promote civilian ninjas, and the other is to communicate and integrate with each other. For this reason, he set up a lot of rules, such as the offspring of school-age ninjas must join the ninja school, and for example, the teacher leading the graduates cannot be a ninja of the same race as the graduates. After all, if the student is a certain race and the teacher is also a certain race, what is the difference from the previous ninja performing tasks alone and completing the task? For this reason, he even accepted many disciples together with first Hokage. Sarutobi, Danzo, Yudatan Koharu, Mito Yanman. Even the Uchiha clan has a Uchiha Kagami, but none of their own clan, the Senju clan, worshipped them. Of course, although they didn't come under the door, they left a lot of ninjutsu and pointers to ninjas. Well, since it is the second grandpa's order, then I will obey. Tsunade nodded, and then changed the subject. Then let Orochimaru and Jiraiya be the team leaders. What do you think, teacher? Of course she knows the strict order of the second generation. Compared with letting her be a teacher herself, the latter sentence is her real purpose. Third Hokage looked at Tsunade strangely. You want them to be teachers. Today's Sunin is far from reaching its peak, but its strength is also second to none in Konoha. The weakest is also the top elite Jonin, which may even reach the quasi-shadow. Such a person is qualified to be a commander of a front line. Tsunade asked them to be a teacher with fresh graduates. Nonsense. Third Hokage snapped. Tsunade, why don't you tell me to be the team leader? If the teacher is willing, that's naturally the best. Tsunade blinked and said. You. Teacher, there is only one male left in my Senju clan. Before Third Hokage could curse, Tsunade suddenly bowed his head. It's okay for me to be wronged. For the sake of the overall situation of the village, I never care about the grievances suffered by the Senju family. But I don't want Linyi to suffer those grievances. Hearing this, Third Hokage had a complex expression. In fact, there are many factors for Senju's loneliness, such as being too famous and being hunted down by hostile villages. For example, the two generations of Hokage died alternately in battle. For example, when the Uzumaki kingdom was destroyed, they went to support and killed a large number of elites. Of course, there is also the issue of struggle in the village, and this Hokage also has a tacit attitude towards some things. But anyway, the village owes too much to the Senju clan. Recalling the unreserved teachings of first Hokage and second Hokage, Third Hokage sighed. Okay, I get it. But the two of them must be voluntary. This is a must. Third Hokage said in a deep voice. Don't worry. Tsunade assured, patting his chest. Volunteer. They definitely volunteered. If not voluntarily. There is no problem that cannot be solved with one blow. If there is, then beat them twice. Bye, Tsunade. After more than a month, it was finally time for the senior students to graduate. Linyi and others who passed the principal's review came to the training ground. Kushina looked at the training ground with bright eyes, and Minato stared wide-eyed. searching for his future teacher. Today's graduation from ninja school is completely different from Naruto's graduation in the future. Today's ninjas are more about testing their combat power. This is a habit handed down from the Sengoku period. Now that the smoke of World War II is approaching, more emphasis has been placed on this aspect. Lin Yi yawned and stood aside nonchalantly. Yesterday he felt a flash of inspiration. In order to pursue this inspiration, he stayed up all night and finally learned Raise-Non. Raise-Non, the current level is upgraded to LVMAX, and the additional status Chakra Manipulation Grandmaster is obtained. Chakra Manipulation Grandmaster, through continuous training, you can control your chakra more finely. Raise-Non is a very standard A-level ninjutsu, and it is the most powerful among the Ji ninjutsu. At the same time, it has many extensions, such as Lightning Style Raise-Non integrated with Lightning Style, Wind Style Spiral Shuriken integrated with Wind Style, Big Ball Raise-Non with increased chakra, and so on. It is a powerful ninjutsu that can be used from the beginning to the end. Lin Yi, didn't you sleep well? Mikoto noticed Lin Yi's exhaustion and asked. Well, I didn't sleep. Lin Yi replied casually, because I'm too excited. That's not acceptable. Mikoto frowned and said, we have to show our best side in order to win the best teacher. Don't worry, I know what's going on. Lin Yi said casually. In fact, Lin Yi doesn't really care about the teacher. With unlimited skill points, even if he doesn't have a teacher, there won't be much difference. But helplessly, Tsunade will not let him have no teacher, and Konoha will not let a genin go out alone. At present, he is just a primary school student in terms of ninjas. Although he thinks he is much better than those so-called old drivers, he is not the same, after all. Primary school students are not allowed to drive. Chapter 23, Hit with Your Eyes Closed Flowers 2K+. Chapter 23, Hit with Eyes Closed Flowers 2K+ more. The assessment for graduation from ninja school is very simple, it's just a battle. Konoha will send some genin to fight with these juniors, and there will be many ninjas watching, and if they meet Liang Cai who thinks they are outstanding, they will be accepted as disciples. These people are generally special jonin, and some may be real jonin. To recruit disciples, they must be outstanding in talent, strength, and even politics. Of course, that being said, in fact, this is just an assessment, and passing the test is genin, and the teacher who leads the team is assigned by third Hokage after a while. But in particular, jonin, and even jonin are the elites of the village, and Hokage must listen to their opinions. Rather than being assigned by third Hokage, it is better to say that they became teachers because they fell in love with some geniuses. As for others who aren't genius enough, then you can only follow a Chunin to make your debut, and after a few missions, you will be wiped out by everyone. Of course, this is nothing to Lin Yi and others. After listening to third Hokage's long and stinky speech, the assessment officially began. Namikaze Minato, you go to the third area, you are in the 7th exam. The school teacher said with a name. Mikoto, you go to the first area, you are in the 4th examination. Lin Yi, go to number 7, you are the first to be assessed. The practice field has already been divided into several areas for the upcoming battles. Lin Yi and the others nodded, looked at each other, and rushed to their examination room. The content of the assessment is to fight, but in fact, you don't need to be able to defeat genin seniors, as long as you show your strength enough to be a qualified ninja. Of course, it is better to be able to defeat nature. Strange, isn't sister here? Before Lin Yi walked into Area 7, he glanced around. A lot of the top elite jonin in the village came, and he noticed a lot of eyes staring at him. but yesterday, the sister who promised that she would definitely come by taking pictures of the magnificent conscience did not show up. Forget it, it's not a big deal anyway. At the same time, damn it, Jiraiya blames you. As a ninja, why are you sleeping late? Tsunade cursed angrily, and at the same time hurried to the training ground. She made an appointment with Lin Yi to see his assessment, but she didn't expect the teacher. She decided to lead the team to sleep in and not get up. Are you really a ninja? Can you still sleep late? Did you take the assessment teacher to spy on the women's bathroom when you graduated, and then let the teacher let you go? Didn't I just fall asleep when I got home because I was too tired to do the tasks yesterday? Jiraiya muttered. Now his whole face is blue, and his body is also blue and purple. Looking carefully, it seems that his ribs are all broken, but it doesn't affect his activities. Miss Tsunade's wake-up service is not so enjoyable. Of course, Jiraiya's injury didn't just wake him up this time, it was just a broken bone. The injuries on his face and body were caused when he was asked by Tsunade to be the team leader. He was arrogant and felt that he should be more reserved, so he refused first, and wanted Tsunade to ask him more times. Then, he. Jiraiya, hurry up. It's almost too late. Tsunade snorted angrily, my brother is in the first wave of assessment. Hey, my ribs are still broken. Anyway, no one can die, hurry up. Jiraiya. Orochimaru followed them, running forward silently. The ninja's pace is fast, but the time is indeed a bit rushed. Of course, for master teachers like them, even if they run at the fastest speed, there is still time to do other things in the middle. For example, during the running process, Jiraiya made bandages with items such as clothes poles and clothes that he grabbed at random, corrected his ribs, and used spirits as alcohol to sterilize. It can be seen that he is powerful, has a good understanding of medical knowledge, and handles it properly. It should have been hit by Tsunade. Orochimaru thought to himself. The so-called long-term illness makes a doctor, and Konoha should be more familiar with trauma than Jiraiya. In this regard, even Tsunade himself may not be as familiar with Jiraiya. Suddenly, Orochimaru saw Jiraiya approaching and asked in a low voice. Orochimaru, you were also called by Tsunade. Kindness. Then why do you? Jiraiya glanced at Orochimaru's pale, almost pale face in surprise. What's wrong with me? Why don't you have anything on you? I was beaten so badly. Because I agreed directly. Jiraiya stared at Orochimaru with wide eyes as if hearing something unbelievable. How can you agree directly? Do you want our elite Jonin's reserved name? Do you want the demeanor of a strong man? Orochimaru glanced at him silently and continued on. So, do you have to be beaten up by Tsunade like you before saying yes? Made mentally handicapped? Tsunade, actually, we can slow down a bit, it's too late for us to rush now. Orochimaru said, and I have already ordered my subordinates to watch him in the practice field. Anyway, this apprenticeship is almost a process. Tsunade's face, whether it is himself or Jiraiya, will be given. It can be said that unless her younger brother can't even graduate, it is a foregone conclusion to join the two of them. When Sunin came to the practice field, Lin Yi's exam was over. Seeing this, Tsunade gave Jiraiya a vicious look, which made him tremble in fright. Orochimaru looked calm, waved his hand to call for his subordinates, and asked, how is the assessment going? Senju Lin Yi has passed, and the subordinate said, and it's not Genin facing, it's Chunin facing. Chunin. The three looked at each other and frowned. The difficulty of the assessment can be increased, especially when you feel that you are talented and want to show more strength and strive for high scores. The highest can be raised to Chunin, Obviously Lin Yi chose the highest difficulty. But if he had known that he had chosen Chunin, he would have come earlier. As the captain of the ninja team, Chunin often has excellent ninjutsu and rich experience. Maybe it can't compare to Lin Yi who can kill a special jonin, but it can also let Lin Yi show some real strength. Facing Chunin, how did he fight? Even Jiraiya asked with great interest. What ninjutsu did Lin Yi use to face Chunin? Is it the water style handed down by Nidame or Tsunade's strange power or some other way? The subordinate swallowed, with a complicated expression on his face. He is. He hit it with his eyes closed. Chapter 24 Lin Yi, which one do you want to be the teacher? First update, please ask for flowers. Chapter 24 Lin Yi, which one do you want to be the teacher? First update, please ask for flowers. Hit with your eyes closed. Jiraiya and Orochimaru stayed together at the same time. Yes. He closed his eyes and looked embarrassed, as if it was too easy to compete with Chunin, and he was very reluctant. Then closed his eyes and made a move, but after 3 moves, Chunin lay on the ground. The corner of the subordinate's mouth twitched. When the subordinates thought of the situation at that time, their expressions were a little complicated. Lin Yi closed his eyes and lowered his hands, but it was Chunin who couldn't bear the humiliation and took the lead. Unfortunately, as soon as he attacked, he was kicked away by Lin Yi, and attacked again, this time with a punch instead. Obviously the second attack was from behind, but Lin Yi seemed to have eyes on his back, and defeated him lightly. Eventually Chunin flew into a rage and used ninjutsu, and as a result, before the technique was activated, Lin Yi slammed close to him, slashed his neck with a knife, and knocked him unconscious. At that time, including myself, Jonin, everyone was shocked. Defeating Chunin is nothing, this Jonin himself can do it easily, and instant kill is not particularly difficult. But it's easily defeated with eyes closed. It should be noted that vision is the most commonly used sense for people, and it is also the most practical sense. You can detect the opponent's movements with only vague senses without using vision. How advanced is this physical skill anyway? My subordinates remember that everyone was shocked at the scene, and after a while, most of the elite Jonin and Jonin who came disappeared. He knew what these people were going to do to find third Hokage, and want Lin Yi to belong to his subordinates. The Senju family, the seedling roots are red, and the talent is excellent. Who wouldn't want such a good seedling? The subordinate explained the scene he had just seen in detail. Orochimaru and Jiraiya looked at each other. Still have this kind of operation? Originally they came here just to give Tsunade face, now they are getting interested. As expected of my younger brother, he has finished the exam. Where is he now? Tsunade asked excitedly. Over there. The subordinate pointed casually. How is your assessment over? Lin Yi asked. It hasn't come to us yet. Mikoto smiled and said, it's you who made a big splash again. Hitting Chunin with your eyes closed, this is something that has never happened since the establishment of the ninja school. It's because the opponent is too useless. If you don't make it more difficult for yourself, how can you fight? Lin Yi laughed. Cut. Kushina snorted softly, hypocrisy. Kindness, it's obvious that you want to show off, so what are you talking about? Kushina snorted, maybe you're trying to be handsome on purpose, in order to charm some little girls. What about you, are you fascinated by me? Lin Yi chuckled. For it. Kushina blushed a little. After all, this place is just a practice field, not very big. After her own assessment, she naturally went to see Lin Yi's assessment first. Result. I have to say that she was really obsessed with the scene where Lin Yi defeated Chunin lightly with his eyes closed. But Kushina would never admit it, and just said, "Humph, it seems that your strength is not bad, and you are qualified to be Miss Ben's teammate of the future 4th Hokage. Well, when I officially become a Hokage, I can seal you as an elder or something. Then thank our Lord 4th Hokage." Lin Yi smiled. It is obviously the most important assessment for ninja students, but they are talking and laughing, which makes people envious. However, these 3 people, the handsome man and the beautiful woman, with exceptionally good grades, naturally attracted a lot of attention. Even Jiraiya watched the boys and girls chatting and laughing from a distance, and said with emotion, "That's great, this is youth. Reminds me of when I just graduated." Yes. Orochimaru narrowed his eyes slightly, and said with emotion, "You were also." Hearing this, Jiraiya squinted her eyes, as if lost in memory. Then listened to Orochimaru. "At the beginning, you were like this, looking at other couples talking and laughing." Jiraiya. The assessment was over, of course, everyone including Lin Yi passed. Minato, Kushina, and others have their own performances. The standout was actually Mikoto. She turned on Sharingan. Although it is only the most basic one-tomo Sharingan, her strength has greatly increased, easily defeating an elite genin, and becoming the most outstanding student besides Lin Yi. Even Lin Yi was very surprised when he saw this. Mikoto started Sharingan when he was only 11 years old, although it sounds like Itachi who started Sharingan when he was only 8 years old. But considering the fact that she is a student of the ninja school and has never experienced any blood, it is absolutely not untrue to say that she is extremely talented. After the assessment is over, of course the results will have to wait for a while before they will be announced. But for those who have connections, they can already decide the future. Tsunade pulled Lin Yi, pointed at Orochimaru and Jiraiya. "Lin Yi, which one do you want to choose as a teacher?" Chapter 25 Extremely Strong Life-Saving Ninjutsu Second Update, Ask for Flowers. Chapter 25 Extremely Strong Life-Saving Ninjutsu Second Update, Ask for Flowers. "Lin Yi, which one do you want to choose as a teacher?" Tsunade asked with a smile. Jiraiya smiled proudly. Orochimaru looked calm and stood quietly aside, apparently acquiescing to Tsunade's question. Lin Yi raised his head and looked at the two. Jiraiya, the future mentor of the protagonist, is powerful, and even faintly suppresses Orochimaru, who is not crazy about playing dirt. He may seem exaggerated, but he is actually very reliable. It can be said that as long as Lin Yi does not betray Konoha, he is the most reliable backing. Orochimaru's strength is not weak, and his words are more reliable now, but in the future he will become one of the chief culprits in the destruction of Konoha. At the same time, he will be madly obsessed with the blood succession limit in the future, and even wants to take over the Uchiha clan. Lin Yi has a sage body, and it is entirely conceivable what Orochimaru will do after he discovers this. Although sage body cannot be found without strict inspection, but as a master and apprentice, no one thinks that they can hide from this powerful researcher in the ninja world. Even if it can be concealed, when Orochimaru defected, it would probably be another trouble. But Lin Yi was silent for a moment, but walked up to Orochimaru, bowed slightly and said, "Teacher Orochimaru." That's right, he chose Orochimaru. If you want to use Lin Yi's strengths, you need a lot of skills. Jiraiya is indeed strong and reliable, but his ninjutsu is very simple. Raise Non, Fairy Body, several Fire Style. These Lin Yi have ways to get. But Orochimaru has developed a ninjutsu system. Hidden Shadow Snake Hand, 10,000 Snakes Array, Evil Snake Wrist Explosion, Orochimaru Flow Body Replacement Technique, 8 Chi Technique, Software Transformation. Besides, when Orochimaru seeks to seize the house, at that time Lin Yi might be able to hang Kagayaji. Wise choice. Orochimaru smiled. How is it possible? Why not me? Jiraya's eyes widened. Lin Yi, my name is Konoha Toad Sage, haven't you heard of it? Accepting Lin Yi can shorten the relationship with Tsunade. Besides, how could I be worse than Orochimaru? Probably because of your image. Orochimaru said flatly. Image. Jiraiya was taken aback for a moment, and suddenly felt a dull pain in her body. FK. By the way, I just got spanked by Tsunade. With bruises all over his body, who would think such a teacher is strong? Tsunade looked at Lin Yi and nodded. She also thought it would be better to choose Orochimaru as the teacher. In Konoha, the only outsiders she can trust are these two teammates. However, Orochimaru looks much more reliable than Jiraiya. In fact, from the current point of view, Orochimaru is indeed more reliable. Especially now that Orochimaru has not been blackened, and he has not lamented that life is fragile and short, and decided to study the technique of immortality. Teacher Orochimaru, although I have become your disciple, ninjas usually perform tasks in small groups. Lin Yi said suddenly. Oh, do you want to recommend some disciples to me? Orochimaru gave a faintly interested smile. Not bad. Lin Yi nodded. Uchiha Mikoto, the daughter of the elders of the Uchiha clan, has opened Sharingan again, and her strength is not weak. Uzumaki Kushina, although his current performance is not as good as Mikoto, but the physique of the Uzumaki family is no less than that of the Senju family, and he is a good seed. Although Orochimaru didn't see Lin Yi's competition, he did see the battle between Mikoto and Kushina, who were ranked behind. Not to mention how outstanding, but as a disciple, he is absolutely qualified. Besides, Orochimaru glanced at Tsunade, and nodded, remembering her style that had begun to change to a matchmaker. Okay, you two, are you willing to worship me as a teacher? Kushina and Mikoto looked at each other with great joy. Orochimaru is a well-known ninja in Konoha, far beyond the reach of ordinary teachers. Willing. On the other hand, Jiraiya next to him was a little sullen. He felt that his reputation and image were no less than Orochimaru's, but because of Tsunade's beating, Orochimaru was lowered by a head. Suddenly, he saw Minato looking at them with a kind of blessing. Well, Orochimaru has disciples, I want to have them, and I have to teach a genius to defeat this guy who doesn't know the greatness of the immortal. Hokage's office is noisy and chaotic. Master Third Hokage, I would like to lead the team, please allow me to teach Lin Yi's class. My lord, I think my class needs a master gymnast, preferably one who can defeat Jonin with his eyes closed. You little Jonin, how dare you bring such a genius? This task must be entrusted to me. Master Hokage, I am also willing to lead the team. Nidaime has been so kind to me, please allow me this small request. The weakest is also the existence of Jonin, who is constantly arguing here, without any Jonin style at all. Third generation looked at this group of Jonin and elite Jonin, and the corner of his mouth twitched. Some of them really want to repay the kindness of the first generation and second generation, and some people think that accepting a Senju disciple can increase their prestige, and maybe they can become a new generation of Hokage. Of course, the premise of all this is Lin Yi's talent. I didn't expect such a genius to appear among the descendants of the teacher. Third Hokage sighed. He is known as the professor of ninjutsu, and he has even taught a strong man like Sunin. He is naturally a little bit delighted to see Lin Yi's talent. If he wasn't Hokage, he might be among the crowd vying for the position of teacher by now. Suddenly, an Umbu appeared and whispered something in Third Hokage's ear. Okay, you don't have to argue. Third Hokage coughed. Senju Linyi, Uchiha Mikoto, Uzumaki Kushina, belonged to Orochimaru's first class. When everyone heard the words, they said unwillingly, "Yes. To officially become a ninja, you must perform the tasks of a ninja. No one would take a fledgling genin to the cruelest battlefield in the first place. That's not ninja, that's murder." Even at this moment when the smoke of war is thick, Lin Yi and others have to perform some simple tasks at first, mostly around the village, before being sent to more severe environments. It is to let genin adapt to the life of a ninja, and it is also to let the teachers get acquainted with, guide their students, and teach them a few ways to save their lives. But on Lin Yi's side, the person who taught him ninjutsu has changed. "Lin Yi, next I'm going to teach you a very strong life-saving ninjutsu, you must study it hard," Tsunade said seriously with a serious expression. "What ninjutsu?" "Summoning." Chapter 26 Want a Flying Thunder God. Chapter 26 Want a Flying Thunder God. The ninjutsu that Tsunade wants to teach Lin Yi so seriously is summoning. At first, Lin Yi thought it was the wood-style ultimate move, but after thinking about it later, teaching summoning was the best choice. The threshold for learning summoning is very low. Naruto, who took the Chunin exam, can easily learn it, and almost everyone can learn Jonin. According to the difficulty of learning, it can only be classified as B-level ninjutsu. But in fact, the power of the summoning technique depends on the summoning beast. Summon the powerful summoning beast, maybe you can have cage-level combat power in an instant. Yes, that's what Tsunade thinks. "Lin Yi, this is a contract scroll handed down by my great-grandfather and passed down by the Senju family. It can summon Katsuyu from the wet bone forest in the 3 holy places." Tsunade said in a deep voice, "This is your best choice. Although Katsuyu is not an aggressive and powerful existence, he is very outstanding in life-saving and healing. At the same time, all the Katsuyu in the wet bone forest are clones of Katsuyu Immortal. As a sage, Katsuyu has rich fighting experience and can definitely save Lin Yi's life." Meanwhile, Tsunade had another idea. "Lin Yi's chakra is so strong that even I am far inferior. If he can use this chakra, can he summon all the Katsuyu Immortals from the wet bone forest?" In the 4th Ninja World War in the future, Sakura, who wears the tailed beast coat given by Naruto, plus Tsunade, can use Bai-Hao technique at the same time to summon 1/10 of the Katsuyu body from the wet bone forest. In this way, it meets the healing needs of the all-ninja coalition forces. What would happen if Katsuyu summoning came out anyway? Tsunade knows that she can't beat Katsuyu Immortal now. Yin is high, Su, Yu, Shen, Wei. We will practice this in the next month. Tsunade said in a deep voice. What about the clone? Lin Yi asked. Summoning requires blood as a medium, and wood clone cannot summon summoning beasts. Avatars are also fine, the medium is blood, you just need to provide them with it. Tsunade showed a meaningful smile. Don't worry, your sister and I are Konoha's first-class medical ninja. It's very simple to maintain its fluidity after bloodletting. Lin Yi. The summoning technique is just this troublesome. When ninjas use the summoning technique, they have to bite their fingers. Naruto didn't know how many times he had to bite his finger to learn the summoning technique. Lin Yi is more powerful here, he can directly choose to bleed the blood of summoning for 10 people. Lin Yi sighed, if I didn't have the body of a fairy, I don't know if I can hold it. It's not for 10 people. Lin Yi was taken aback. It's for 100 people. Tsunade said calmly, during this period, I used earth style to dig a big pit underground in Senju's residence, enough for 100 people to practice ninjutsu. Be happy, Your practice speed can be accelerated again. Lin Yi. I am happy, I am happy. I am so happy that I want to cry. Mudun, 100 people are consumed at the same time, how much blood do I need to shed first? This month, Lin Yi didn't know how she got through. Get up every day to let blood first, and then start to practice, practice, practice. When the blood is used up in the middle, it has to be bled again to replenish. Fortunately, Lin Yi has the body of a fairy, otherwise he would never be able to resist. Lin Yi didn't know how much blood was put in. Anyway, after more than 10 barrels, he didn't count. But to be honest, this learning efficiency should theoretically be the fastest one. Tsunade accompanied and gave advice throughout. She may only be able to give wood style a few general principles of ninjutsu, but she is quite familiar with summoning. However, it took Naruto only a short time to learn the summoning technique, and it took Lin Yi nearly a month to use the avatar. Obviously he is very bad at space-time ninjutsu. But it's just a little thing. Because summoning technique, the current level is raised to LVMAX, and the additional status Time and Space Ninjutsu Grandmaster is obtained. Time and Space Ninjutsu Grandmaster, after hard training, you are more familiar with the use of Time and Space Ninjutsu, Time and Space Attribute Affinity +1. If it weren't for this reminder, Lin Yi would have forgotten that summoning belongs to the category of space-time ninjutsu. Time and space ninjutsu is quite powerful, Kamui, Hollow, Tensong technique. Although the summoning technique has almost become a standard equipment for powerful ninjas, everything else is quite precious. Obito's Hollow is almost invincible. But since at this time, the state of space-time attribute affinity +1 was given, Lin Yi inevitably had to think a little bit carefully. Lin Yi, you are going to follow Orochimaru to the front line next. Do you want anything? Tsunade helped him organize his clothes while packing his bags. Lin Yi looked at the luggage piled up next to him like a hill, and the corner of his mouth twitched. This luggage is almost more than the Konoha transport team. But what do you want? Well, Sister Tsunade, do you have any recommended ninjutsu that moves very fast, is easy to save life and easy to attack? By the way, some time ago, I read in the family history, what is the ninjutsu of Uchiha Izuna, the second grandfather who defeated his old enemy coming? Lin Yi showed an extremely cute smile. Since you asked me to speak, then of course I need something good to be worthy of myself. Tsunade didn't doubt it, just frowned and thought for a moment. I remember that ninjutsu seems to be called Flying Thunder God. Chapter 27 must be together every day. Favorite and add more. Chapter 27 must be together every day. Favorites and more. Flying Thunder God technique. It can be said that it is also a bug-level skill in Hokage, and its development potential is huge. Compared with Obito's Sharingan, it can be regarded as having its own strengths. It was originally developed by second Hokage. With this technique, he killed Uchiha Madara's younger brother, Uchiha Izuna, and laid the foundation for the victory of the Senju clan. And it was fourth Hokage Namikaze Minato who carried forward this technique. He delved into this technique, combined with the sealing technique of the Uzumaki family, created various applications of Flying Thunder God, and earned the reputation of allowing to give up the mission when you meet him. Of course, the Flying Thunder God technique owned by the Senju family is the second generation version. But Lin Yi doesn't care either. The speed of learning ninjutsu by myself is definitely far faster than Minato, and I will learn the sealing technique of the Uzumaki family in the future, and combine it, and naturally have the fourth generation version of Flying Thunder God. If it doesn't work, you can give Minato the Flying Thunder God and the sealing technique, and ask him to help develop it. Anyway, he just needs to study. Are you sure you want to learn this? Tsunade frowned slightly. You worked so hard to learn summoning at first, but now you learn this. Flying Thunder God is an advanced space-time ninjutsu. I think I can do it, Lin Yi said firmly. After learning the summoning technique, the time-space attribute affinity he obtained gave him this confidence. Okay. Tsunade sighed. Lin Yi and the others went to the front line together with the convoy. Of course, it is said to be a front line, but it is actually more of an outpost. World War II was not a war that started with speculation, it was more of a trial, a conflict, and then escalation, and finally turned into a war. It is still in the stage of conflict, mainly based on intelligence warfare. There are ninjas constantly spying on each other and conflicts. Although the conflicts are relatively small and based on the team, the damage is not small. The outpost that Lin Yi and others went to is one of the bases of the Konoha shinobi who spy on intelligence, providing equipment, medicine, etc., and a place where ninjas can rest. Transporting materials is one of the most boring jobs. Apart from helping to push the cart when the road is blocked, it is almost a hurry. Kushina, who was still full of yearning and expectation for the life of a ninja, no longer sees the excitement when he just left the village. His whole person is like a frost-beaten tomato, listless. Mikoto didn't show it, but he still felt a little bored. But they have never complained, one is because this is the duty of a ninja, and two. Okay, it's noon, it's time to eat. Orochimaru said softly. Mikoto and Kushina's eyes lit up, and then they looked at Lin Yi together. Okay, I see. Lin Yi shrugged and started to cook. Watching Lin Yi's movements, Mikoto and Kushina swallowed at the same time. Damn it, why is Lin Yi's cooking so delicious even though they are only the most common ingredients, and all kinds of seasonings are also the most basic ones, why are the dishes made so delicious? Thinking of the delicacy on the tip of the tongue, the two of Mikoto seemed to have gone to heaven, and the whole person was in high spirits. Seeing the appearance of the two of them, Lin Yi chuckled lightly. To be honest, he doesn't know why his basic cooking can bring this effect after reaching the full level. If he didn't make it himself, it would feel like adding an aphrodisiac. This is Hokage. Not the spirit of eating halberds. Teacher Orochimaru, are you coming to eat too? Lin Yi turned his head and asked. No, no need. Orochimaru twitched the corner of his mouth and turned his head away forcefully. I'll go to the front to check. After you finish eating, Kushina will take over from me, then Mikoto, and then Lin Yi. Yes. The three answered in unison, but Kakuzu had a weird smile on his mouth. Especially Lin Yi. He knew that Orochimaru was a villain, and he showed a lot of villain standard smiles, but he never showed embarrassing expressions. But when you eat your own food. Well, when he ate it, before his face changed, he left immediately, and he refused to take a second bite even if he was beaten to death. It's a pity that I didn't see the change in his expression. Lin Yi cooks very quickly, and the three of them sit and eat together. The footwork and laborers next to him all cast envious eyes, but they could only slobber from the corners of their mouths, nibbling on the bland rice balls. Lin Yi only cooks for Orochimaru just to see his expression, otherwise he doesn't want to cook for a man. Of course, for sister paper. Eat slowly, Kushina, there are still a lot here. Lin Yi smiled dotingly, and filled a bowl of rice for Kushina. Feet, laborers. It's okay to smell the aroma of the food, but you have to eat your dog food at the same time, it's too much. Drink and eat. Kushina lay on the ground in a disfigured way. I'm full, I'm full. Kushina, you are so uneducated. Mikoto next to him said. TCH, I didn't see how educated you were when you were eating. Kushina said indifferently. Mikoto blushed and lowered his head. When eating just now, the chopsticks of the two moved like the wind, which was quite embarrassing for Mikoto, who was taught very strictly. Fortunately, Lin Yi went to wash the dishes and didn't hear him. Mikoto let out a sigh of relief, and then his little face turned red again. Why is Lin Yi doing the dishes as a good boy with a tutor? Mikoto offered to help clean up the dishes early on. But the aftertaste of that dish was too strong, she was sore and limp all over, she couldn't get up. Hey, what are you going to do if we can't eat this kind of food when we finish our mission and get home? Kushina asked suddenly. Mikoto was taken aback for a moment, and then his expression was slightly frozen. Yes, what should I do if I can't eat such a delicious dish during the mission? I can still chat with Lin Yi all the time, but what will I do after the mission is completed? If you want to eat Lin Yi's cooking every day, you have to be together every day. In other words, the faces of the two were a little red. Chapter 28. Now, you are shorter than me. First update, please ask for flowers. Chapter 28. Now, you are shorter than me. First update, ask for flowers. The transport convoy continued on its way. Orochimaru walked forward casually, with an uneasy expression on his face. Ninja is not a delicate profession, even if he is Hokage's disciple, Konoha's elite jonin, a professional title, not strength, he still walks forward in the same way. The three of Lin Yi went to the front in batches to explore the way. Although they were not sentient types, they had already learned the most basic knowledge of wayfinding in the ninja school. Of course, reconnaissance has always been one of the most dangerous operations. But in Orochimaru's words, this danger allows Lin Yi and others to use the knowledge of the ninja school to the mission as quickly as possible. Anyway, with him as a master, even if there is a problem, it will not be completely irreversible. Now it is Kushina who is in charge of finding the way. Lin Yi walked forward quietly, although the rush was a bit time-consuming, but it had little effect on him. Because his doppelgangers have been learning ninjutsu in the basement of the Senju resident. This is Lin Yi's application of summoning and reverse summoning. Summon a Katsuyu in the Senju garrison, and then another when the convoy sleeps over. When resting, let Katsuyu from the Senju station summon himself, disband the avatar to absorb ninjutsu experience, and then separate the avatar again to practice again. Afterwards, let the resident Katsuyu summon himself back. Although not as convenient as Flying Thunder God, it also solves the problem of ninjutsu learning. The task that Lin Yi asked them to learn is undoubtedly the Flying Thunder God technique. As it stands now, after this mission is over, we can almost learn this ninjutsu. Lin Yi narrowed his eyes. Not long after, Kushina rushed back bouncing around. Report to the teacher, there is no trace of the enemy 3,000 meters ahead. Oh, is that so? Orochimaru's voice was hoarse and his face was calm. It is impossible to extend the distance too far, so that if there is any problem with the scout ninja, the troops can't rescue it at all. But it's not easy to explore too close, such pathfinding is completely useless. Generally speaking, for the transportation team, it is within a reasonable range to explore 2 kilometers to 5 kilometers. Although Kushina did not detect the farthest, it is also a qualified distance. Let's go back to the team. Orochimaru said calmly. Yes. Mikoto saw Kushina return to the team and was ready to move forward. It was she who was in charge of finding the way next. Kushina smiled at Mikoto and followed the convoy, following behind Orochimaru. Suddenly, Orochimaru turned his head and glanced at Kushina. When a battle occurs, it is indeed a good choice to get rid of the strong first, but I don't think you will think that luck is so good, so the goal is to hurt me and then temporarily hold me back. What? Kushina's eyes widened instantly, and just about to make a move, suddenly. Pooh! Lin Yi, who was standing behind her, thrust his palm hard, piercing her chest. Mikoto's eyes widened and she was completely shocked. When the blood splashed on her face, she suddenly realized and shouted in horror, "Lin Yi, what are you doing? Mikoto, be careful." Mikoto was taken aback for a moment, his face suddenly changed. Whoosh! 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 Countless shurikens and kunao suddenly shot from both sides, like rain. Thanks to Lin Yi's reminder, she turned over and used the transport carriage as a defense to block the attack. At the same time, she looked at the ground where Kushina fell, and she froze there. Where Kushina's body should have been, lay a man she didn't know at all. It's the enemy. She tensed up instantly, and a strong chill enveloped her whole body. Just now she greeted Kushina with a smile, and walked past Kushina without warning. If she wanted to attack herself. "Be careful, Mikoto, it's Rock Shinobi," came Lin Yi's calm voice. Hearing Lin Yi's words, Mikoto looked up at the ninjas who had rushed over. They wear Rock Shinobi's forehead protector on their heads and hold kunao in their hands, and they have a fierce trend. "Lin Yi, Kushina should have been dragged far away by them, here I leave it to you, I'll go and rescue her first," Orochimaru said calmly, and casually strangled a Rock Shinobi's neck. "Yes." Lin Yi smiled. "You don't want to leave?" A tall Rock Shinobi rushed over with kunao to stop him, but in the next second, Lin Yi appeared in front of him. "Your opponent is me, little dwarf, get out of here." That Rock Shinobi seems to be a special jonin, leading the team to delay time. He was tall, more than 2 meters tall, and his muscles were like twisted roots of an old tree. When he punched him, the fist that was the size of a casserole was powerful and heavy. Although Lin Yi is considered tall among her peers, she is too young after all. In front of Rock Shinobi, she is like a tiger and a kitten. There is a huge difference. How strong is a ninja who seems to have just graduated? Rock Shinobi's attention is still focused on Orochimaru, who is the one he needs to hold back with all his might. But short. Lin Yi narrowed his eyes slightly, and in the next second, he drew out his ninja knife, his figure flashed, and the silver light flashed away. The next Setsuna, 2 long legs in ninja pants flew sideways with a bit of belly. Blood spattered, bones were exposed, and Rock Shinobi let out a horrified wail. Looking at the half-body of Rock Shinobi, Lin Yi said calmly, "Now, you are shorter than me." Chapter 29 How did you distinguish? Second update, ask for flowers. Chapter 29 How did you distinguish? Second update, ask for flowers. Now, you are shorter than me. The calm words were filled with extremely terrifying scenes. In ancient times, there was a punishment called cutting at the waist, which means cutting off at the waist. The victim will only be able to watch his internal organs continue to flow out from the fracture, and die wailing. Today's Rock Shinobi is experiencing such a heavy feeling. What? Severe pain came to my heart, and even the experienced Rock Shinobi let out a desperate wail. But Lin Yi, who did all this, just glanced at him lightly and said, "Well, let's cut from the top next time." Then, a stomp on Rock Shinobi's skull ended the miserable wail. For a moment, a sense of fear welled up in the hearts of many rock shinobi. Even Mikoto was so overwhelmed by the spooky aspect that he forgot to act for a moment. "Mikoto, do it, I'm a little worried about Kushina," Lin Yi said, and rushed into rock shinobi without hesitation. It can be seen from the fact that the special Jonin level is only used to delay. Their target is not Orochimaru, nor their own Senju clan. If so, then the main combat power should be on your side. Their target is Kushina. Rock shinobi also Jinchuriki have an idea. Lin Yi squinted his eyes and rushed into the crowd. Kushina. Mikoto woke up suddenly. Compared with them, the most dangerous one is Kushina. Could it be that Lin Yi was so cruel in the first place because of Kushina? The Senju family has always treated the world with the face of love and peace. Even if it is second Hokage, he only kills the enemy, and he will not be so ruthless like Lin Yi. But now Lin Yi did not hesitate to attack. The biggest reason was naturally to deter the enemy. Then, reduce the enemy's resistance and resolve the battle as soon as possible. Good to see Kushina over there. Speed up. Mikoto gritted his teeth, forcibly resisting the discomfort of blood on the battlefield for the first time, and launched an attack on a rock shinobi. Except for Lin Yi, no one noticed that under the single jade in her eyes, a second jade appeared faintly. Are you going to be promoted to Sharinan so soon? Her talent may not be inferior to Ataki and Suzuki. Lin Yi thought to himself, and at the same time formed seals with both hands and launched an attack. Fire style impatience technique. Boom. 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 Several fireballs rushed away, and the smallest fireball was comparable to the great fireball technique released by ordinary ninjas. In an instant, the fire surged and almost turned into a sea of flames. Damn it, come behind me. Except for the special Jonin, there was only one special Jonin and 6 or 7 Chunin, whose strength was not strong. After all, it is just a team used to delay time. But anyway, there is still a special Jonin. He chakra surged and shouted loudly. Earth-style Earth-shore return. With a sudden slap of the hand on the ground, a huge stone slab flipped up. Earth-style is known for its defensive power. It shouldn't be difficult to block a small sea-level ninjutsu. At this moment, a soft voice came into his ears. Raise non. Boom. The stone slab was broken. Lin Yi held the raise non, blasted over, and hit the raise non on the opponent. Even though Rasengan's power was affected by breaking the stone slab first, he still knocked out Rock Shinobi who had the special Jonin power. Then, a kunai flashed by and made up the knife. Especially the Jonin level powerhouse, even if he was vigilant because of the death of his teammates at the beginning, Lin Yi has no power to fight back. Next is yours. Lin Yi narrowed his eyes. Lin Yi struck quickly and killed their leader first, and their morale plummeted. Mikoto also opened the second Sharinan, which greatly increased his strength, and quickly resolved them one by one. As they kill the last ninja, Orochimaru finally returns with Kushina. Kushina followed behind Orochimaru with her head down. However, there were no scars on the body, which made several people breathe a sigh of relief. Orochimaru scanned around and spoke. Kushina, be careful next time. You will be surrounded by enemy traps casually. If Master Mito hadn't left you with a seal of 9 tails chakra, you would have been captured by that Jonin long ago. Even I couldn't save you. Return. Mikoto, you have to be careful. It's not just Kushina who made a mistake this time. You were so unguarded in the face of your teammate after you left. Haven't you considered the possibility that the opponent is an enemy? It's the same now. I came back with Kushina, and you were still not vigilant. Lin Yi looked at me, but first his whole body tensed up, and after confirming that it was correct, he breathed a sigh of relief. Orochimaru is an excellent teacher. He did his best to criticize the teacher, and commented. As for Lin Yi, good job. Orochimaru smiled. At present, he has not started to blacken, even if the reason for Tsunade is not mentioned. I hope that Konoha will become stronger and stronger. And Orochimaru glanced at the battlefield, especially the deep pits blasted out by the impatience technique, and narrowed his eyes slightly. The density of the pit and the burning sensation. Is it the impatience technique? It has such power. Tsunade's younger brother, he seems to have a lot of secrets. Of course, he would not ask such a thing. Everyone has a chance. Lin Yi is Tsunade's younger brother, not someone he has to find out. Yes. Mikoto and Kushina lowered their heads and whispered. But the two are little girls after all, and they experienced war for the first time. Although they were scolded by Orochimaru, they finally talked about the gains and losses excitedly. After Lin Yi came back from the investigation, he saw Kushina approaching quietly and asked. Lin Yi, how did you tell that the previous me is not mine? Kushina's eyes are bright. Is it relying on love? Is it that the pretender doesn't have the cuteness I have, or what factors? What? I really want to know. Lin Yi, I can say that it is because I checked your body several times before, and now I may be more familiar with your body than yourself, so I can see it. Chapter 30 The Open-Minded Ninja. Third update, Ask for Flowers. Chapter 30, An Open-Minded Ninja. Third update, Ask for Flowers. The next group of people continued to move forward, but they did not encounter similar attacks. In other words, there were indeed attacks, but there was no such danger that members were in danger and needed rescue. Mikoto, Kushina, and others also experienced fighting and gradually grew up. They have all received the most authentic ninja education, and they are extremely talented. As long as they have passed the bloody baptism, they will grow very fast. The few people followed the transport team and finally came to the outpost on the Konoha border. The outpost is not big, just a bunch of rooms, plus a few large warehouses, quite simple. There are ninjas returning from completing missions in other countries. Some are tired, some are covered in blood, and some are sad. Their teammates are not complete. Obviously, some people died in the enemy's territory. It seems that the condition is not very good. Lin Yi narrowed his eyes. It's normal. Now the land of earth and the land of wind are hostile to us. Orochimaru said calmly, Konoha is a little short of manpower. Although Konoha is stronger than either of the two countries, but helplessly, the other party is two countries. Even if they couldn't work together, it still put a lot of pressure on Konoha. At the same time, due to the fact that Cloud Shinobi wanted to take Kushina away some time ago, the situation near the border of the Kingdom of Thunder is also very tense, and there are not many people to be assigned. I'm going to the headquarters first. You go and hand over the person in charge, and then wait for my news. Orochimaru said lightly. Everyone nodded, and Orochimaru disappeared. Lin Yi and others also started to work, moving supplies. When everyone was finishing their supplies and eating, Orochimaru's figure appeared leisurely. Teacher. Several people nodded in greeting. N. Orochimaru nodded calmly, but his expression slightly moved when he smelled the aroma of the food, and then continued to say expressionlessly, I just became the commander of this outpost. Everyone congratulated, but there was no surprise. Orochimaru's strength is not bad. The position of a commander is naturally no problem. Of course, there is still national friction. It is not a ninja group war, but a war in the form of intelligence war and breaking war. The commander is more of a job on the front line to assign tasks. The ninja who attacked Kushina before should be the real rock shinobi, either in disguise, or whether they confirmed Kushina's presence through spies or some other means. Orochimaru continued, but no matter what, you have to pay attention to your comfort. After all, each of you has a high status, so you must always pay attention to hiding it. Kushina, alternate Nine Tails Jinchuriki. Mikoto, the granddaughter of Uchiha Great Elder, has the purest blood of the Uchiha clan. Lin Yi's identity is greater, the only direct heir of the Senju family. From this point of view, even Tsunade is more important than him, he is the purest male of the Senju clan. So, I hope you don't carry out the mission with a vengeful mentality, as it is easy for people to catch mistakes. Orochimaru said lightly, looking at the three with a pair of snake eyes, do you know? Kushina's face turned black. Orochimaru meant that she was not allowed to take revenge. Those bastards, rock shinobi, if Mito-sama hadn't left me a piece of Nine Tails chakra, I would have been captured by them, and now they won't let us take revenge. Understood? Orochimaru's voice was aggravated, a little cold. Yes. Kushina reluctantly lowered her head. Don't worry, Mr. Orochimaru, we are open-minded ninjas, we won't bear this grudge. Lin Yi smiled. That's good. Orochimaru said lightly, but don't worry too much, I will become the commander next, and naturally I will keep your missions and identities secret, as in the normal execution of missions. Teacher Orochimaru, won't you come with us? Mikoto heard what Orochimaru meant, and asked immediately. Teacher, not with students. Well, after all, I am the commander, but what you need is the baptism of blood. Orochimaru said calmly, but you should all have some behind the scenes, I think the problem should not be big. As he spoke, he glanced at Lin Yi. Kushina has a chakra from Mito, he can't believe that the Brahkan teammate will not prepare something for Lin Yi. And the secret of the alternate Jinchuriki's identity has been exposed, but the most important Senju bloodline has not been exposed at all. Tsunade is so protective of his brother. The temporary captain is Lin Yi, you can take the role. I will give you a list of tasks later, and you can pick one to complete. Orochimaru said calmly. To be honest, he doesn't really approve of Tsunade's educational policy. Ninjas are all killed from the mountains of corpses and seas of blood. How can they live like a domestic kitten? To become his disciple, the necessary bloodshed must be experienced. Yes. Lin nodded. Then you and I will take a look at the mission list. The two of you stay here and start the mission tomorrow. Orochimaru said, and went straight out. Lin Yi immediately followed. Not long after the two left, Kushina's expression collapsed in an instant, and she kept complaining. Teacher bastard, it's clearly my disciple's revenge, it's fine if you don't help, but you actually blocked me from taking revenge. Lin Yi is also an asshole, obviously I was bullied by those rock shinobi. Mikoto smiled wryly, and could only coax, Kushina, teacher, and Lin Yi don't let you take revenge for your safety. After all, our identities are more dangerous. But Kushina's lips moved with a look of sadness. She understands the reasons, but why did Lin Yi and Orochimaru make her endure? Especially Lin Yi, you helped me when I was bullied. Mikoto looked at Kushina and sighed. But she knows that in order to make Kushina settle down, Lin Yi will definitely choose the task of Sand Shinobi. Hey, you don't look very energetic. Get ready, this time the task is to attack the Rock Shinobi transport team. Lin Yi walked in suddenly, took out a few Sand Shinobi forward protectors, and said. Take all these Sand Shinobi's forward protectors, and then transform into Sand Shinobi. Let's pretend to be Sand Shinobi to attack Rock Shinobi. Mikoto was taken aback. Hit Rock Shinobi. Kushina's eyes lit up. Well, get ready and leave tomorrow. Lin Yi nodded and said. Wait, Lin Yi, shouldn't we choose a Sand Shinobi mission? Mikoto couldn't help but ask. Then how Lin Yi looked at her in surprise instead. I still want to avenge Kushina. Revenge, isn't that what you told Orochimaru-sensei before long live? Lin Yi, I love you so much. Haha. Garbage Rock Shinobi, wait. Kushina yelled happily. Wait, Lin Yi. Mikoto wiped off his sweat, pulled Lin Yi and asked, Lin Yi, didn't you say before, we are ninjas with a big heart, we won't bear this grudge? Lin Yi is already wearing Sand Shinobi's forehead protector. Hearing Mikoto's words, he nodded, taking it for granted. Yeah, we're all big-hearted ninjas, and the narrow-minded ones are Sand Shinobi. Mikoto. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge activity time, October 1st to October 7th.